I'll be frank, I was not a Digimon kid growing up. Cyber Sleuth, however, did get me into the franchise, I've watched a couple seasons, and now I'm hooked. So I'm on a journey to try and play as many Digimon games as I can and see if there's some truly hidden gems. My name is Rise, and welcome to our first stop on the journey, Digimon Masters. Digimon Masters Online is a 2009 MMORPG based off the 5th season of Digimon, Data Squad, or Savers depending on your locale. Although as we'll see, there is representation from every season, even the more recent stuff. This MMO seems to sport anywhere from about 300 to 500 players daily on SteamDB, so there's bound to be a reason to keep on playing. I mainly picked this one first because it's free, so there's no barrier to entry, and is so old it should play on just about anything. I'll admit, I did put a few hours into Digimon Masters before doing this video, but it was years ago, so I don't really remember any of it, so I'll be approaching it as a new player trying out a new MMO for the first time. So first off, we have to download the game naturally, and as that is happening, I click on one of the news listings that appear on the launcher. So what do you think this did? A. Open up my default browser selection Firefox. B. Open up some kind of in-launcher browser to showcase the news. C. Display the news without opening a browser. Or D. Opened up the deprecated browser Internet Explorer. If you chose D, you are correct. It opened up Internet Explorer, a very broken, useless browser that was replaced over 3 years ago now with Microsoft Edge. There is no reason this should have opened at all, and honestly could even be considered a sign of things to come. I'm also going to say it now, this game did not capture properly, so if things look a little fuzzy, I do apologize. Alright, booting up the game, we pick between the two available servers, create our character, and choose our partner Digimon. I pick Marcus because his hands are rated E for everybody, and Lalamon because its evolution line is actually one of my personal favorites. Take note of just how many potential options here are locked at the start, which means we'll probably have to spend some hard-earned cash for them later. Now we're ready to go, and I'm just gonna let the next minute or so of footage play out for itself. So, mind telling me what's going on? Why do I have Omegamon X? Why am I fighting Death Xmon? Where's the music in all of this? All we have to do is walk up, click on Death Xmon, and let Omegamon X body the poor dude. And apparently we gotta destroy Yggdrasil to stop a Project Arc or something. Okay, if you say so. Another cutscene, something about host computers and rollbacks, then we appear on the streets of Yokohama Village for the actual tutorial. We talk to Mickey, a DATS agent, and immediately run into a spelling mistake. Fun. This is a reoccurring thing for Digimon Masters, low quality translation and weird text box spacing. Text itself will cut off at the letter instead of the entire word, which makes it all just seem really sloppy. Mickey teaches us the basics, how to scan and deliver items, how to craft, and how to hatch a Digimon egg. It's all very basic and almost excessively streamlined. I'm not taught what any of these things do or how to get more of them. The data that's required to hatch a Digimon? Not explained in the slightest. At least I got a Renamon out of the deal. That's something at least. You can tell the tutorial has ended by the NPCs appearing all in a neat row, including the one you're currently talking to. At this point, I just start messing around with my inventory to see what does what. If the game won't tell me, I'll just brute force it. Using this evolutioner item lets me unlock the Talmon evolution for Renamon, and this gift box gives me clothes that fit right at home for a 2009 middle schooler. I use my item slot expansions, one at a time, and some kind of EXP booster. Alright, on to some actual gameplay. Talk to Marianne, gain a bit of experience. Good, maybe we're finally getting somewhere. The next quest is to defeat some Mechimon and Gabumons for 855,000 experience points? I'm not an algebra expert by any means, but this doesn't feel like the kind of quest that needs 400 times the experience as the last one. But okay, we'll clear out the enemies that, while at a higher level, also die in 3 seconds. The quest also said Gabumons and not Garurumons, which is what we actually have to defeat, but at this point, I'm not really too surprised. Mary hits us with a "Have you ever trained before?" And then the game decides to burst my eardrums. Okay, do you have to do that for every level? Is that Talmon? Oh, never mind then. My bad. Okay, let me do some of the explaining here because the game won't. To digivolve your partner, it uses your character's MP that drains over time the longer you stay in a higher form. That is why they digivolved, and then almost immediately de-digivolved. I'm more baffled that one simple quest just boosted us to level 13 and 26, however. Okay, everything's fine. We'll just walk 5 feet over to Mickey again and oh god, it's happening again. We are barely 2 quests into the main story, and I'm somehow both overstimulated and underwhelmed. Quests normally follow a natural progression. Kill X amount of enemies, turn in, rinse and repeat. Lilamon is now level 40, and comfortably destroying just about everything in our way. Everything else can be healed through thanks to an abundance of full restoring chicken dinners. I didn't know Digimon loved KFC so much. Funny enough, Lilamon also seems to be bored already just fighting these basic level enemies. Eventually, we do arrive in the DAT's headquarters, where my game starts to chug because everybody is here and showing off their impressive endgame Digimon, including Seriousmon, of all things. I'll admit I didn't really expect that. This is where I cap off my first time playing, which was about 30 minutes of playtime. This beginning section was terrible, to put it lightly. It's strictly utilitarian, and tries to hurry you off into the endgame with very little in the way of actually easing you into the game. I understand that a majority of the fanbase is now endgame people and veterans, but it's going to be hard for them to convince anyone new to try the game when the intro is this messy. But somehow, in some way, it only gets worse from here. We talk to the DATS leader and get sent into the digital world. Cool, maybe we'll finally get a bit of story to kick off a quest or something. Hi Agumon, what do you have for... Oh, okay, 60 million experience? What is happening? You don't even do anything in this area, it's just talk to NPC for generic dialogue twice, get a metric ass ton of experience, go to the next NPC, rinse and repeat about 4 or 5 times. Then nothing. It just stops. Which is not only terrible, the way the NPCs talk shows that there was some kind of quest to do here. More than likely defeating a certain number of Digimon, but even that's been gutted to push you into the endgame that much quicker. So with nothing else to do, I follow a secondary quest that the DATS leader gave me, which leads me into the DATS transit system where I find Hero from Digimon Ghost Game. He just kind of gives you a free Gamamon, which I name Alduin. And it's through this entire process that goes to show how absolutely cluttered the main hub area is with everybody's 30-foot tall Digimon. As far as I could tell, there was no way to hide them either, And now I know what it's like being 5'2", trying to deal with a 6-foot person. Okay, so I travel to the wasteland and follow the convenient marker towards where I have to go, just gunning it without really exploring. I stumble across a cutscene that was definitely supposed to be some kind of ongoing quest chain, but I do finally find Starmon. He tells us to defeat 15 Rockmon, which is simple enough and not totally unexpected at this point. But you see, a new problem rears its head here. See, I have to defeat 15 of them, but this area I'm looking around doesn't really have any. Why is that? There's a bot going around one-shotting all of them. And this thing has some range too, because it will be attacking multiple Digimon at once with little time to sneak in. I do manage to finally kill all the Rockmons required for the quests, but at this point I'm just burnt out from trying to sneak under a literal bot's nose for 10 minutes straight. This isn't an isolated incident either, because while exploring other zones, I find a starter quest to kill Gabumons, actual Gabumons this time, but that area is also being botted even harder than the Rockmon were. All I have to ask is, why? I understand the possibility of new players is low, but what could possibly be the reason you have to farm low-level Digimon like this? It can't be the XP, surely. Maybe the drops then? Are people really fiending for some Gabumon Digi-eggs? I think I've had enough. Let's just sit here with Gamamon by the fountain as we wrap this video up by checking out the cash shop. Prices seem cheap, as to be expected when a game is this old and being kept on life support, but how much is this in real-world dollars? Oh, I think I missed. Let me no, it's broken. The ability to buy the digital currency is broken. Maybe that's trying to open up Internet Explorer too. That's really just the cherry on top of this entire journey, huh? Game King couldn't even be bothered to make sure you could actually buy the currency in-game. It's almost funny, if it wasn't so sad. You get 50 crowns for $5 by the way, so a crown is about 10 cents. Digimon Masters is a shell of an MMO, kept on life support by its devs to squeeze whatever pennies of profit they could from botters and veteran players. The new player experience is quite dismal and, quite frankly, not worth it. It's like if you started Final Fantasy XIV for the first time, and before you even stepped outside of a starter city, you were level 80. For retrospect, for the price of the lowest packs of crowns on Digimon Masters, you could buy the other Digimon games on sale. Games that are infinitely more fun than anything Masters has put forward. We've got Next Order, Survive, Cyber Sleuth, even Time Stranger in October. If you need your Digimon fix on PC, you have choices that are actually enjoyable. You don't need to suffer a hollow pay-to-win MMORPG. I have plenty of other Digimon games to get through, so I don't think I'm missing out on too much dropping Masters like this. I would like to thank you all for watching. This was definitely an experimental video since I'm much more used to making tech-related content. But if you liked what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. I'll definitely be trying to make more videos in the future on this channel. Thank you again, and have a good day.